And we are giving today.
Thank you so
It
much.
is eating down for me.
Like the
Oh,
squirrels.
I love it. It's just so full and healthy. And you have like that you have that glow of, the skincare is skincaring, but the genes cannot be denied. So thank the parent.
Oh, that was such a specific compliment, girl. I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna
Take it.
you.
Take it because you ate that. I know you're super busy, and I know we're like a few days out before the inauguration, but just doing a quick check in before we get started with this interview. How are you feeling? How's everything going?
Ooh, thank you for asking that. Because I didn't even have time to ask myself that question. Honestly, I've been go, go, go. And I've been on vacation up until this past Thursday. So 3 days ago, as soon as I get back, my first day back, I'm in LA. And I'm at the Palisades Fire. I'm pulling a 14-hour shift. I'm like, okay, here we are. Welcome back.
Ooh, 14 hours?
14-hour shift.
Oh no.
I know.
And with everything happening over there in California right now, because I see it all over the news, my heart goes out to not just the first responders, but people who have lost their historical homes, who have been there for like generations. And then also, I feel for y'all working in like the comm space of having to then pull the story out in times of like tragic situations. It can feel very awkward going up to folks saying, hey, do you want to talk? And they're trying to figure out how to deal with this life-changing moment that just happened, you know?
Exactly. And I feel like that's something that comes with practice too, because at the end of the day, yes, we are trying to inform people of what's going on and we have to lead with that, but you have to be sensitive. Right. So when I was up there, my first goal, I'm going up to people, are you okay? Do you need anything? Hey, I'm with NBC. Mm-hmm. I'm just checking in right now. Mm-hmm. And then they are okay and they do feel well enough to be able to share their story so that other people can understand what's going on and how they can help, then we take that step. But it's always humanity first for me, at least.
I appreciate that. So that's why I just wanted to do a mental health check-in with you first, because I know that takes a lot of emotional intelligence if you're doing your job right. First and foremost, emotional intelligence to engage at that level, especially during times of tragedy. But that's part of the reason why we're here. But first, we have to give you your intro and your receipts. And I know I jumped a little bit ahead from my viewers. They're like, okay, Yvonne, but who is this person on my screen? Whose voice am I listening to? I am with, and let's give context. Okay, so you know how I meet people, y'all. And it's just something I learned from my mama. I grew up in Black church. It's just how I am. But I had the pleasure of meeting Shandel Menezes. I got it wrong already. I had the pleasure of meeting Shandel Menezes when I was in California back in November for the African American Marketing Association mixer that they had in downtown San Diego. And of course, there's something about when Black folks come together, no matter where you are in the world, we just kind of gather in one spot and we just start talking and meeting one another. And then I walk up to this table, as outward of a personality as it seems. I was a little shy because I was like, okay, I don't know anybody here. Yes, I was shy. I was like, I don't know anybody. Like, hi. That's how I was feeling on the inside. I came out with my coworkers, so I was like by myself for the event itself.
I had no idea. I would have never known.
Yeah, I fake it till I make it. But you make it. We were like sitting there talking, and I met these three amazing women who worked in the media space, specifically reality television, and then Shandel, who works as a reporter, on the ground reporter for various networks. Are we allowed to say the networks, Shandel?
Yeah, Shandel.
Sorry.
And I work for NBC.
Okay. I just want to be mindful, Shandel, because not everyone wants to make their job public or, has rules about participating in certain platforms. So she was there. We had like these great conversations. I was like, I just got to have her on the show because I just love amplifying women of color and Black women who are doing great things in the comms, creative, and marketing space. So she is here today to join me for coffee, and she is a news reporter from Wilmington, North Carolina. She studied broadcast journalism at UNC Chapel Hill and started her career in East Texas before joining NBC's San Diego team in 2023. When not running around San Diego on assignment, she loves cooking, gardening, and playing volleyball. And with that being said, welcome to Coffee with Yvonne. That was an extra one for you.
That really just pumped me up. Do that every time. Please start.
I do. And you know what? To take a step back, what position did you play in volleyball? Just asking for.
Oh my goodness! So every position. They put me where they needed me because I felt like I at one point just needed to get good at everything.
Mm-hmm.
I will say my favorite position is outside hitter, but most recently I play in a league now. Wait, do you play?
I played in high school and a bit in college. That's what I was asking. I was like, oh.
I play in a league right now with a bunch of boys, so I'm a libero for them. So that's that shows the having to be adaptable and all of that. But I love just playing. You know what I'm saying? Put me anywhere, but
you know what? I love when I meet other Black girlies who have played volleyball because that's not a sport that's really like promoted a lot of times. It's usually basketball and maybe soccer. But when you hear volleyball, you kind of like, really? Because it takes a toughness to get hit in the face on purpose.
It's humbling.
Yes.
You're building on that court.
Can you imagine wearing glasses too? Man.
Oh, I've seen it.
Girl.
I've seen it. I hope you don't have a testimony.
Girl, the amount of times when my mom was at them games that my glasses came flying off, she would just get down from the stands, pick them up, check them, and then hand them right back.
No way! And hand them back. That is the hand back because that means this has happened before.
Yes, many times. And she was like, well, just wear the goggles. I said, Mom, I already wear glasses. You're going to really get me picked on if I wear these goggles. Like, don't do that to me. Don't do it. But I played for volleyball. I was a server. So little brag story, Yeah. One time I served a game, I think it was 15 points straight. So they weren't able to like return my serves.
Oh, girl, I need to see this serve. You need to come back to San Diego.
Girl, I don't have to serve no more. Mind you, that was a 15-year-old me who could like, really hit it back then. I would have to like put myself in some conditioning to really like get that strength back. But the thing about my serve was it was considered, I think like it was a floater serve. So it was like, it looked soft, like it was never going to go over the net, but it will float and then drop right in front of you.
That is the hardest one to return.
Yes.
The floaters are the hardest ones to pass. My goodness.
And then I was middle back, so I took a lot of the hits. So I would do the digging. So when they would do like the kill shot, I would get down there and go underneath to return the ball up, so the setter could then pop it up for our killer to take it back over. So my right knee specifically, is not. I do Pilates now.
Me too. And my right knee is also acting up, so I feel like we have a community here.
We do. Because my knee pads did nothing for me. Nothing at all.
That floor burn is a piece of me now, and I have just learned to accept.
Yeah. It was a lot of injuries, and I played softball as well, so I was just getting hit in the face. What position were you in softball?
This was a while ago. Right field.
Okay.
In softball.
I was first base.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's impressive. Yeah, you was getting some action. You was busy. You were
very busy. And my mom is a lovely Christian woman. She is. She encouraged me to fight when I was on the fields because you had to be, you had to catch the ball, also have communication with the pitcher and the second base person, but you had to be able to catch the ball and protect the base at the same time. So you were essentially checking folks who were like, running first base.
Sorry, you're not gonna be here.
Nope.
You can be in the dugout though.
So, sometimes it got a little scruffly on the field, because they didn't expect the little sweet girl to
No,
be you
players can
know,
fight.
yeah,
So,
let's get into this interview because I've been looking forward to this all week. Okay, so let's take it back to a younger version of you. Who was
yeah.
your role model growing up, and how did they inspire you on your journey to become a news reporter?
Woo-hoo. I have so many. I have so many, but the first person that comes to mind with that question is Gwen Eiffel.
Who's that?
And for those who don't, oh, I'm so excited to tell you who this is because Gwen, well, she passed in 2016. So first, may she rest in power
Mm-hmm.
because she really, really moved some tables and was, she was a shaker and a mover.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but she was an anchor for PBS. But she started her career. She was born and raised during the civil rights era. So, yeah, foreshadowing, right?
Yes.
She was a journalist raised in the civil rights era, born in 1955, I believe. And in her internship, when she worked in Boston, she came to work one day and there was a note on her desk that said, N word, go home. This is at work. This is on her desk at work. This is a college student, like trying to break into the industry, and this is more or less a first impression, right? And word go home. Guess where she didn't go?
Home.
And because she didn't go home, she became the first Black woman to host a national political talk show. She became the first Black woman to moderate a vice presidential debate. Because she didn't go home, she used that hate to just kind of fuel all of these things that she was able to start and really just inspire
Mm.
for journalists like me that were going to come after her, right? So many people could have seen something like that and be like, actually, I don't want to do this
Mm-hmm.
because if this is what my career is going to be like, if this is a hint or some type of, foreshadowing of my career, I'm just not going to even get into it. But she did the complete opposite. We have so much to be grateful for because of that.
Mm.
So I'm here in large part because she didn't go home.
And you know what? I appreciate you telling that story because for a lot of us, myself included, we stand on the shoulders of other people who have come before us who didn't go home, right? And who are there essentially to be our blueprint. So when we get into the industry ourselves, which full transparency, marketing is still a very predominantly white field. Marketing and comms is still not as diverse as it could be in terms of being inclusive. And at times when you don't see yourself in a lot of spaces, especially higher up positions, you can start to lose hope. You can start to lose hope if you're ever going to get there. You can start to lose hope if you belong and if you should pivot and do something else. But because homegirl didn't go home,
Mm-hmm.
she inspired you to be where you are today. Because homegirl took that note and said, don't believe me, just watch.
Yeah, see?
Okay, because she stood 10 toes down in her talent.
All of
And
them.
was
All
like, I'm
of them.
gonna do what needs to be done. So the
You get
next
it.
one come behind me will never want to go home.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. You said that so perfectly. That
Thank
is
you.
even better than even better than I could have. That is the exact reason why I still do it because we got people that are going to see and be discouraged unless they have other people that they know they can lean on and have been through the same thing and push through and found other ways to still stand in their purpose.
Yes, and especially for you, like, and please let me know if this is offensive, but you being a beautiful chocolate woman, my mama a chocolate Barbie too, by the way, but you being a beautiful chocolate woman, I love when I see women of deeper skin tones on television because
Mm.
growing up, what quick little anecdote about me, my mom was very insisted on me having black Barbies, right? And growing up as a kid in the 90s, there weren't a lot of options for Barbies. I couldn't do the American Girl doll because my mom said you're not playing with a slave named Abby. She wanted me to see myself, so she got me a doll called Kenya. And the Kenya doll, I love so much because she has such a rich, beautiful skin tone. And I think about little things like that, where back in the day, it wasn't common to see women who looked like my mom on television. It was common to see like Diane Carroll, may she rest in peace. I call her Whitley Gilbert, but Jasmine Guy, women like that. You didn't see women of deeper skin tones. How do you carry the weight of knowing that you are a visible role model for other young Black girls and boys who are seeing you on their TV every day? How do you feel knowing that?
Well, first, I don't take that lightly at all. And I really just try to dig into, like, the same thing you were saying, what I would have wanted and needed to see when I was a kid, right? I try to embody professionalism in the most authentic way possible, so that way other young Black girls, young chocolate girls, don't feel like they have to compromise themselves to be accepted in these spaces. Like, make this your space,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Mm-hmm. And that makes a
Absolutely.
lot of sense because when I see here in DC, we have Jumi Olabanji. She does Channel 4 news. I make the joke every morning, me and Jumi, we start off the day together, and I'm like, oh, there goes Jumi. She got braids in today. Oh, she switched it up. Like little things like that, seeing a Black woman wear her hair in a natural style or a protective style years ago, that would have not been accepted. So when I first saw you pop up on the screen for this podcast interview, you had your, the curls out. I was like, oh, I love seeing it because it gives an authenticity for me and also for like my nieces growing up, that they can wear their hair natural and it can be considered beautiful and professional no matter what space that you're in. And
Mm-hmm.
I do recognize too that there may be pushback at times with people not understanding how to um, embrace various cultures outside of what they know. So, have you ever been challenged by that, whether it was, in your current role or in previous positions, to conform to something that fit a more normalized narrative of what beauty is in the industry?
Yes, 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 yes. Even, and I wish I could say that this was in the past, but this still exists today. As I'm looking for my first job, I'm getting advice. You need to have a consistent look, one that need, and all of these things, it's all PC. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? I feel like you as I get older, learn to read under the lines of what you're really telling me that I need to do, but just how it's presented. You need to have a consistent look. You can't change your hair too much. I remember I had faux locks in college, and I was going on this like journalism boot camp where we would be filming things to be able to show to possible, hiring managers.
Mm-hmm.
And I was told that I should take my faux locks out so that way I could be more accepted. And I had just gotten these in. I
Oh.
had just gotten these in literally maybe a week ago, and I took them out. I took them out because being so new and not even really, I just want to make a name for myself. I just want to be able to have space. I don't want to do the wrong thing. And today,
Mm-hmm.
those faux locks would have stayed in.
I know that's right.
I mean, you see how my hair is. This is how I've been wearing it this week at work. I mean, natural hair. We have the Crown Act, which makes it illegal to discriminate against natural hair, but we have that in maybe half of our states so far. So that is not the case countrywide. This is still an ongoing push, but that is why I feel it is an obligation for me to show up with natural styles, braids, curls, what have you. And that doesn't mean that you can't still, wear a wig or a weave when you want to, but don't feel like that's what you have to do in order to be accepted. Because if I had known then that that was what I was walking into, I wouldn't have done it. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to force myself into rooms that I have no business being in anyways because they don't accept me authentically. So now my mindset is, okay, because it still exists. There are still places that wouldn't hire me looking the way I look right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I also feel that a place that's not going to accept a full me isn't a place for me, or a place that I should want to be in anyways.
That's a quote right there. A place that will not accept the full me is not a place for me. You got to write that down, by the way. That's a good quote. That's a good quote. And I love you saying that because, like, for me, working in marketing, when I was a entry level professional, like a coordinator, I felt the need to force me to have straight hair even in the summertime. Girl, if you can imagine the DMV heat around here, gotta have straight blowout in the middle of July was the hardest thing. Yes, you have 30 minutes. 30 minutes. Yes, that's what I have for these blowouts. And I would find myself, I lie to you not, in the bathroom in tears, trying to, with a mini flat iron I borrowed from my other Black coworkers, trying to straighten my hair enough to put it into like a little low bun so it could look professional for a meeting I had to walk into. Not realizing that, hey, you shouldn't have to do that in these spaces. You should feel comfortable showing up as yourself. But I felt so insecure thinking I want to be accepted for my natural curl. I forced myself to keep my hair straight, or I started wearing wigs to the office. And now in my professional career, look, you gonna get these curls, you gonna get these braids, you gonna get a ponytail every now and then. And if you have questions, it's okay to ask them. Just be respectful when you do it. You know? Yes.
People, I feel like that message needs to be sung further and wider. Mm-hmm. That it's okay to be curious. It's all about your approach and all about your delivery. Black women's hair is really magic. It really is. I expect the masses to understand it. So feel free.
Like, I remember when I cut my hair back in November, and then I had it like an acute pixie cut, and then I put it in my natural curl style you see right now. And my coworker said, "What happened to the rest of your hair?" I said, "Oh, honey, it's just curly right now. It's just a little tight. It'll stretch out. It's just a little tight right now." And I'm like, oh, I didn't want to be rude by asking. I said, just ask the question, because I'd rather you be approachable or respectful in your question than assume things about me and just like do the stare that we often see.
So much worse. And then I don't know if they don't know that we can see them.
We can.
We can see you.
We can see you. We can see. I know yesterday I had a little bun on top of my head. Today I got like a long ponytail coming into I know it's not the same hair. I know. I got a box of it right now. I know I can have something different. I am aware. You want to ask me in private, but don't do it in front of people, because then I might curse you out. But anyway.
Yeah. Moving on.
Because I know my coworkers do listen to this podcast. I wouldn't curse you out. Knowing now, and I'm trying to say this as respectfully as possible.
Yeah.
Knowing now that there has been such a huge shift around DEI and reframing the conversation about what diversity, equity, and inclusion looks like, have you noticed any shifts in your area of expertise and like that newsroom culture of having conversations around DEI, about what companies are doing, or even internally about how to approach inclusion in the newscaster or communication space? Have you noticed, people being a little bit more about it?
About DEI since it became more controversial in the past couple of years. I feel very fortunate, actually, I'll be honest, because I feel like in other settings, except for like my newsroom specifically, I have noticed any DEI initiative under fire. So much so. And I feel like a lot of it's just a trigger point. People don't really even understand what DEI is. And I think if that were the case, then there would be a lot less pushback against it. Like, why are you against equity and inclusion? Are we against inclusion?
It seems like people are hopping on something that feels controversial because it's the buzzword for right now, right? The buzzword before was, I think it was woke. So that word went from being an internal word culturally to now being used for political gain. So now DEI is the same with that. And it's unfortunate because a lot of programs, and I don't care if I get in trouble with this, a lot of programs for DEI actually benefit white women when it comes to inclusion. And also, when they talk about DEI, they don't talk about how things like accessibility are important. They don't talk about things like different narratives around how hiring practices and things like that. Like for some folks, you would not have the job that you have unless those DEI policies were actually in place, to tell the truth. You wouldn't have the job. Because let it be known, if you put my resume next to yours, you're not getting even put in the room for the first level of conversations, if we were to tell the truth. But by removing me from the narrative, because you think that my credentials are less than yours, you think you have a fighting chance of actually getting a job, and you still do not measure up to what I bring to the table. You have to weaponize something to make it seem like you are pushing down or suppressing another group to make yourself feel better, when in reality, you could never step up.
Where's the ladder, poo?
Okay. That's just how I feel about it. And I think we're going to continue to see dismantling. Like recently, I think Amazon announced that they're rolling back their programs. McDonald's announced it. Walmart announced it. I think Facebook or Meta, whoever they want to call themselves, announced it as well. So they're using this a lot of times for that political gain. But it is my fear, by weaponizing it, they're going to end up in turn hurting the people who need it the most and realize that they screwed themselves over in the end.
It
For
should have never been politicized to begin.
no, no, it shouldn't have, because you don't know what you're doing. Because social media, for a reason, is recognizing what y'all doing. And we clock tea. Let's sip on that one. I like you.
Like you too.
Thank you. And moving to like talking about social media, we all know that social media, whether good or bad, has influenced how we take in news and information now. Do you think, as an actual professional who studied in your field, who knows what she's doing,
Mm-hmm.
do you think social media has made it harder or easier for people to trust journalists?
I'm going to say it's made it harder,
Mm-hmm.
but not for bad reason. Because I very much encourage people to be very critical of the information they get. Be critical of news, ask questions, dig deeper. The issue comes when people see something on Facebook and spread it to the masses without even knowing if it's true.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Perfect example just happened a few days ago. I'm on the phone with a very dear family member, talking to them about how I was up in LA covering the Palisades fire. They tell me, "Oh, did you see that the Hollywood sign caught on fire?" I'm like, "What? Yeah, it caught on fire. This is really out of control. This is nuts." I said, "I haven't seen that. Give me a second." Um, I'm simple Google Hollywood sign on fire. It didn't take one thumb scroll. Hollywood AI sign on fire. Hollywood sign debunked. Hollywood sign fear mongering. I said, whoa. Did A lot of times I want to ask people, like, did you care if it was true or not? You know what I'm saying? I feel
Mm-hmm.
like that is extremely dangerous, to just spread lies. Maybe you know it, maybe you don't, but I think it's very irresponsible to spread information without knowing, one, if it's from a trustworthy source. A lot of people don't know how to know what a trustworthy source is, so I think that is a great baseline for everyone to stay on. But to
Mm-hmm.
answer your question, yes, it is harder for good reason, but also because it's just, lies are more accessible. And it takes more diligence for people to sift through the noise and to know what is the truth.
Mm-hmm. And you're exactly right. There, the number of times, and let me clarify, Auntie, I love you. I do love you, Auntie. But the number of times I have seen did you see this? Did you see that? And I'm like, well, first of all, if you look at it, you can tell that that is not a real image. You can tell the image is blurry. You look at the link looks like a WordPress site, so that's not an actual site. And people don't take the time to read beyond what the clickbait headline is, which is one of my biggest issues with sites like the Shade Room, because they know what they're doing in creating that clickbait narrative that people are not even going to read the actual copy. They're going to just look at the picture and make a determination if it's true or not. So unfortunately, when you have professionals like you who are actually doing the work and doing the research, it makes me concerned that younger generations have sometimes a distrust of media because they think, oh, well, they're already paid by X, Y, and Z not to tell us the truth. No, they do their research. They have an
Right.
ethics about their work. They have to be ethical in what they're reporting and have a fair, it should be unbiased for some, but should be a fair and unbiased view of what is actually being shared to the public, because a lot of times you are a main source of information, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
pay attention.
And I'm grateful for that because we need more of you. And I mean, I understand too. Like it is hard. Like
Yeah.
AI is terrifying.
Oh my god.
Deep fakes. I'm doing stories about people using AI to fabricate evidence in court. I mean, the
What?
yes, yes, the rabbit hole is deep, and I'm scared.
I'm
But
terrified too.
shake.
Like, knowing how much my face is out there, they could just take a version of me and then like superimpose it on something else. Now my mama would know if it wasn't me or not. She's like, that's not my child. Mm-mm. My child wants, she don't talk in that cadence. That's not her. Especially in like the marketing space too, which marketing and comms go together real bad.
Mm-hmm.
We are seeing the impact of AI and people using it to create works that are not original, but then pass it off as original. And also, it's also a threat to the creator's space. So essentially, bringing in these AI programs is watering down the amount of work it takes to execute things like marketing plans or strategies or campaigns. They're thinking all they have to do is plug it into Chat GPT or a similar bot based program, and it does the same work. Similar
Yeah.
to you can use these programs, but you still need someone to execute it, which is where we come in with our expertise. A machine can only do so much. By you doing like that simple Google search of the Hollywood sign, that lovely relative of yours, as misguided as it was at that time, understood, hey, this is not true. And she probably went, oh,
Yep.
well, okay. But she had you as a resource instead of running to social and spreading it even further, where it will gain even more ground.
Right. Right. But
Mm-hmm.
not everybody has that.
No.
And so that's why social media is whew, a blessing and a curse in so many ways.
Do you think for like the future of your industry, do you see more people leaning into like social media? Like I know, for example, Don Lemon, who was one of my favorites when he was on CNN, he is now doing his own like podcast, and he's now also doing more social media based news stories or like anchoring, I guess, on these social platforms. Do you see a lot more people in your industry leaning into that instead of going to traditional media outlets to do the work?
Yes, I've already started seeing that. People kind of finding, getting a foundation, getting their schooling, maybe starting, in the business. But this business is changing and very quickly. And all of
Mm-hmm.
it is moving digital. So I feel like whether you like it or not, whether you're ready or not, that is what's going to happen by regardless.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that is where it's going and what's happening, and I think that is a positive thing as well. So long as we do it responsibly.
What recommendations would you have for like students who are currently in school to start to prepare to compete in this digital journalism field? What recommendations would you have?
Well, one, I mean, being on the platforms, being tapped in is half, the battle. Being where the people are is the most important part. I will say, like, social media has been the backbone of my career. I don't know a news without social media. That's where I find my stories most of the time. People talking about something, then I can't tell you how many times I've DM'd a stranger, and then an hour later, me and a photog are at their house interviewing them about something. I need social media. And that's where we find sources, where we do research. It's such a powerful tool to connect people. So I would say students need to just keep their heads down and be looking around, be following community pages, be reaching out to people, letting them know who you are, building those connections, especially if you know what market that you're looking for to start working in. A lot of times straight, out of college, you're working in a small town far from where you're from, unless you're from a small town. Wilmington, NC is a small town, so I could have started there, but I started in Tyler, Texas, which is another itty bitty place, but I really did actually love my experience there. But getting ahead of the ball by looking at social media pages and where you want to work and connecting with people in advance, so that way when something happens, they come to you. And there's already that connection built, and there's already that community fostered, which is the most valuable thing in journalism, period.
I love that advice, because a lot of times people are like, just hustle and grind and you'll get there. But you gave real insight about how they can build community, which is something I think is very fragile right now in digital spaces, as things change with the landscape and also upcoming laws that could impact how we get informational sources. Our communities, these digital communities, are going to become so much more important to maintain that connection. And people like you who are sliding into DMs like, hey, want to tell your story, want to like meet with me, you're very important because you feel seen. Because a lot of times, sometimes our stories are suppressed to make room for bigger narratives. And the little guy who maybe is running, I don't know, the bodega on the corner, who has like the best coffee in New York, and everybody's been talking about how great his coffee is, maybe we'll never get a traditional story on the news to promote his coffee, but you saw a TikTok or an IG post about the coffee, and now you're sliding into his DMs to talk about it and pull up on him, and now he's like, oh, I'm famous. Like, it's little moments that make you feel that humanity is still there, especially in times of disconnection. So yeah.
I 100% agree. That is the bread. That is the bread and butter of the entire industry. So as long as you have that and you know how to connect with people, you're going to go far.
I heard that. Well, those are my questions for today, but I do have some quick fire questions. So these are like top of the dome, so don't overthink it, and even if it's an answer the culture may not love, you stand 10 toes down for your answer. Okay? Stand 10 toes down. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. In your opinion, who is the best rapper or singer of all time?
That's such a hard all time, dead or alive. Anybody?
Anybody.
My favorite rapper, I'll give an old age and a new age, because I can't just pick one. Old age, Nas.
Okay.
New age, old age singer, Whitney.
Yes,
Come
ma'am.
on. Come on.
Yes, ma'am.
Girl.
Yes. Which Whitney song is it though? Because I have my Whitney song. Which one is yours?
I think I'm gonna save all my love for saving all my love.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's so many. There are so many, but I'm gonna go ahead and zero in on that one. What's the one for you?
I would have to say it is "Dance with Somebody."
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, that song makes me light up every single time. I feel like that is a great pop track, but also low key, it's also a good dance, like techno kind of like dance, disco track. Disco. It's a very good disco track too.
Yeah, I might have to change because you listen. That just makes you wanna feel the heat.
Yes. Put in like
I love
a big curly wig, and just like
Inhibition's
dance
gone.
floor. Yes, just
You
out there.
sweating and you don't care. Yeah. So Whitney, yes, as far as singers, Whitney, Nas, old age, new age, Yeba. Do you know Yeba?
Mm-mm.
Oh, you need to look her up. Evergreen, the range on this woman, I'm like, are you AI? What's going on? Are you real? I love you anyway, even if you're not. Um, and oh, you asked me for one, girl. I'm gonna give you a list. I'm gonna give one more rapper. I'm gonna give Gunna as new age.
Okay. Okay, I respect that. I respect that. And Gunna, he's not usually someone I have on my top list. However, there is this song called, I think it's called Top Floor,
Mm-hmm.
with Travis Scott. I listen to that song all the time.
Oh, is it on repeat?
Yes. It's on my code switch playlist. I have a code switch playlist. I play it on the way to work because the corporate girl is like, we in a car like this.
Yes, yes.
We're pulling up.
Pulling
Good
up.
morning. Good morning.
Put your
Hi.
badge on.
Like, hello. Scan. Have a good day. We're in the car.
It's duality. It really is.
You discovered you have magic powers. Like, you got your letter to Hogwarts. The owl done dropped it off. Dumbledore pulled up for you, said, hey, welcome home to Hogwarts.
Yeah.
What magic powers do you have?
Powers.
Yeah.
Plural.
You get plural.
Okay, so my go-to first one is always teleportation. I just feel like it's just valuable. You know what I'm saying? You can see the world. You don't got to buy no flights. You could just go. You don't got to worry about nothing. No TSA, no nothing, no clear, no pre-check. But I actually just had this conversation with a friend, and they brought up one I hadn't thought about in a long time, which would be my second one, knowing every single language.
Ooh, that's good.
Even to the animals, you could speak to the animals.
Okay, Dr. Doolittle. Okay, that's good.
There's a spider in my room. All I got to do, hey, look at me.
Hey. I would love to go squeak, 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 and they were like, "Sorry, fam, my bad. I don't mean to disrespect you or nothing. It's all good." Like, I would love to be able to do that. Now, in DC though, they do. Sometimes our rodent population don't have no manners, so I don't need to talk to them. I just need to run. Because the way my fear is set up, I'm not sticking around for a conversation. I'm out.
Yeah, they got paws.
They got hands. They got hands. Like they on that mink kind of thing.
Noted. Stay away from the rodents in the DC metro area.
Yes, because they bold, especially at night. And then last question for you. Okay, if you were a coffee or a tea, like you have your own special brew that's just you, the essence of you, what kind of coffee or tea would you be?
Wait a minute. The essence of me. What are my options? Can you go first? I need an example.
Okay, so mine would be, let's see, my favorite drink at Starbucks is a white chocolate mocha with soy, no whip, right? So we're going to start there with the base. It's going to be a white chocolate mocha, but double mocha, because we need, a little bit extra. Then on top, we're going to have the sprinkles from their holiday campaign, because I just like the way that they taste, because it's a little bit sweet. It's fun. And then to top it off, we're going to do a shot of caramel in there because we got all this energy, but you got to add a little sweetness at the same time, and then close it off with some sea salt because I'm sweet, but I'm going to leave a little something for you at the end of the day to know I'm not one to be messed with at the same time.
I love the balance. First of all, that is a full spectrum. You thought about this one.
I have.
I wish I could do coffee. I wish that my body. Well, maybe I shouldn't wish because I also feel like it's a trap. Because once I'm in it, I feel like it's a long road when it comes to coffee.
I've sought help.
You are one.
Yes, I'm one. Yes, I've been in it strong. Yeah. In fact, I'm low on iced coffee right now, and I have no creamer. I didn't know what to do today. I poured some milk in my coffee today. I said, "Look, I need something."
Right. You scrape and just make mine. See, that would be me. But I would probably be looking in the cupboards to see if, even if I was out of makeup, okay, I got some evaporated in here. Do I got anything to work with? I got to find something. Scratching my neck. Listen, so I know that I need to stay away. Coffee also makes it like, I don't know. It doesn't affect me. I feel like the way that it should. It doesn't hit the way I feel like it should. I'd be sitting there like, where am I? So yes, tea.
Okay.
This one is one of my favorites. It's a lemon ginger, but I like to put my own ginger. And like my family's Caribbean, ginger, I feel like they will throw that on anything. And most of the time it's warranted. Ginger be doing some things, but lemon ginger is my go-to, and I'll stick beside her for the rest of my days. And some honey in there too.
And see, people don't realize that honey is a cheat code. Good honey. Let me clarify. Good honey is a cheat code for real. Because all you need in a good cup of tea, whenever I'm sick, I drink, and this might seem strange, but I drink a green tea, or I'll drink like a healing tea, like something for like, to clear out passages. I'll put in 2 cough drops. I know it sounds weird. I'll put in 2 cough drops. I'll put in like a tablespoon of organic honey, and then I'll put in some milk, like hot milk, and let it settle in there. And it seems weird, but when you add those 3, like those mixture ingredients together, and the tea bag settles, it is so soothing.
Dream team. No, I think you really just put me on with the whole cough drops.
Mm-hmm.
That's the menthol. That's what that's the active ingredient you need in your throat when you sick.
Mm-hmm.
Being throughout the whole drink when it melts.
Yep. Yeah. And it's perfect. It's like a perfect mixture. You get the menthol, you have the tea, you have the honey, and they're all working together in unison. And it just gives a little something. It gives. And I'm not a big tea drinker, but when I'm sick, that's my go-to uniform, along with Vicks on my feet. Because my family's from the South. I'll put the socks on. Yep. Mm-hmm. I know how to That's the first thing my mama said, like, did you put your socks on? Yes. Are the Vicks on the bottom of your feet? Yes, ma'am. Okay. Just make sure you put it on your chest right here. You gotta let it break up. You gotta let it break up.
Got to get the steam in there too. Get the shower steam. Listen, it's a step-by-step process.
But don't you be feeling better though? Don't you feel better?
That's why I still do it. I'm gonna keep doing it too.
Well, thank you so much for joining me for coffee. Where can people find out about you, like on the socials, or where can they watch you on all the things?
Absolutely. Well, I am on Instagram. I think that's probably the social media that I'm most active on. Anybody can feel free to pop in, say hello, shoot me a little DM. That is at Shandel TV, SHANDEL TV. Try to keep it short. And then as far as like, if you want to watch my coverage or anything like that, I report weekdays for NBC San Diego, usually in the early evening, 4, 5, 6 o'clock. You can watch me there and keep up with me there.
Yay! Thank you so much for joining me for coffee. I really appreciate you having coffee with me today, chatting all about the things. So we're going to close out the show. And for those who do not follow Coffee with Yvonne on Instagram, I was dragging my feet, y'all.
Uh-oh.
I finally set up an Instagram and Threads account just for Coffee with Yvonne. So don't forget to follow at Coffee with Yvonne on Instagram and Threads. You can also find my personal account on IG, Fanbase, and TikTok, aka the Clock app, as long as we have it, because I don't know.
I think we might got about one more week.
I think my bags are packed at the door. The notice is on the door. We got to go. But you can find me there at Yvonne_creative marketer. And then don't forget to check out my business page at Pink Dollhouse Marketing on Instagram, and then on the website pinkdollhousemarketing.com. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll chat with you very soon. Okay, bye! Coffee with Yvonne is produced and edited by Yvonne Pearson. Coffee with Yvonne is created by Pink Dollhouse Marketing. You can catch the latest episodes by subscribing to Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts.